Welcome to Corks in Conversation with Raquel V Reyes.
Hi.
Hi. We've known Raquel for years, and we are beyond excited to talk with her about her debut novel, Mango, Mambo, and Murder.
I love it. Twin.
Yes.
I love
And we're
seeing that.
together, which
Yes,
is so
there we
amazing.
go.
I know. So not only is that it's exciting that she had her first book birthday recently.
Yes.
But also she did get a nice review in the New York Times.
Yeah, I think I heard something about that.
Yeah.
I know.
yeah.
Wow.
That
It
was
was wow.
huge.
It
Yeah.
was wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea. It was like really.
Okay, that's what we were going to ask you
Yeah,
about.
we'll get into it. We'll get into
Okay,
it.
okay,
Okay. So and also the book, by the way, the reason we're all here is fantastic. And I'm going to tell our listeners a little more about Raquel, and then we'll get into it with her. Okay, Raquel V. Reyes was raised in oppositional cultures. Her early childhood was not unlike an I Love Lucy rerun, which is just so awesome, with a heavy accented, handsome Cuban father and a red-headed Southern mother whose smile brightened the room. A short story fan all of her life, Raquel's stories are in several anthologies, including Mystery Most Theatrical, In the Midnight Hour, and Trouble No More. Her debut novel, Mango, Mambo, and Murder, follows a Cuban-American cooking show star, which I love. I can't wait to ask her about this. Miriam, okay, I'm gonna try.
She's gonna
Go
try.
ahead.
I'm gonna try. I practiced.
Okay.
But now I can't read my notes. Quinones.
Very good. Yes. The Q used
Okay.
like a K. Very good.
Quinones Smith,
Mhm.
as she becomes a seasoned sleuth. This is the first book of the Caribbean Kitchen Mystery series. And in this aforementioned New York Times review, Sarah Weinman says the book furthers my belief that the cozy mystery has become one of the most diverse and most vibrant in contemporary crime fiction. Raquel, it's so good to be talking with you today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
Yay. So, of course, before we get started with the hard questions,
hard hitting.
Yeah, Raquel had mentioned that she likes an Albarino. How's that?
Excellent. Yes.
Okay. And so Cathi was able to get one. We haven't had this before, believe it or not.
Mm-mm.
And so we have
The pretty bottle.
Paco
Love it.
and Lola
Isn't that a great label?
Albarino.
Mhm,
So
It's beautiful.
Yes, and so for those of you who, like us, don't know what an Albarino is, I'll tell you. It's a white wine grape that is grown mostly in northwest Spain. I mean, they also have it in Portugal, but there it's called an Alvarinho or Alvarinho something. I don't know how to do the Portuguese accent. But anyway, it is a white wine. And as you can see from our glasses, it is in their description on their website, it is straw yellow with a greenish, bright and clear tone. Okay. And it go ahead and taste it.
Okay, I'm like, can we just have a drink?
Yes, please. It's got citric notes, grapefruit and lime and white flowers, acacia, orange blossom, a sweet
Yum.
tropical background, intense aroma of lychees. So fits the book, doesn't it?
It does.
It completely fits the book. And I will tell you the reason why I love it so much. I am a big fan of seafood, and it goes so deliciously with, a plate of mussels, a bowl of mussels,
Do you have any of those?
Not now, not just here.
Maybe
a little
you have
red
them in the
snapper,
freezer.
a little mahi-mahi,
Oh,
a
that
little
sounds-
ceviche.
That's what I should have put in my suitcase, right?
Yeah.
Some
Or
fish
we
or
just
something.
redo it when you guys come back down to South Florida.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you're doing it, right? You're one time in South
We
Dakota,
take
one time in
turns,
South
yeah.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah, this is my first time up here.
It is.
Oh,
She
is
said
it?
we had to
Oh.
cancel twice because of,
COVID.
stuff the
Yeah,
last
the
couple of
thing.
years.
I know. I was due to come right when COVID, like that
March.
March, yeah.
Mhm.
So I rescheduled for the fall. Nope. So now this year.
Mm.
Oh wow.
This
Well,
is
I'm glad you guys are
delicious.
together.
I know.
It's
it
yummy,
is.
right?
Thank you for this recommendation. It is delicious.
And it's light. I mean, South
Yeah.
Florida is so hot.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like, something heavy like a Bordeaux or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is just like
And
refreshing.
I love
It's
I
by
love
the
seafood.
pool.
Yeah, there you
Delicious.
go. By
Well,
the pool.
cheers to you,
Cheers,
Raquel, and your
yes.
success. Yay,
Right.
yay, yay.
So okay. I love all the food in this book
Mhm.
as well. And I was like, okay, I didn't know if Raquel was a big chef herself or she was inspired by something else. So we're wondering what inspired Miriam to be a cooking star.
Well, more than her being a cooking star, my inspiration for her was for her to be an academic. So she's first and foremost, she's a food anthropologist.
Okay.
And there's this line, I think it's in the first scene, where she's like, I'm not a celebrity chef, I'm a home cook. And her best friend Alma is like, no, you can really, really cook. You're going to be great at it, that whole thing. But yeah, for me, it was because I'm a home cook. I mean, I don't have dinner parties with, I don't do that. I'm a home cook. I enjoy cooking. I love, good food, and I live in a great town for it. I mean, the city of Miami, we have South Beach Food Festival by
I know that's where
Food
I
and
want to take her too.
we
Food
have
and wine, yeah.
food and wine. We have these great restaurants here, like celebrity chefs have all this restaurants. So there's tons of that in my backyard. But what I really wanted for her was for her to be a food anthropologist, because then I could talk about the origins of the food and the culture of the food. And so that's really what excited me about it, was why do we eat this? How did this food come to be used? Because not all foods are indigenous to the land you live on. A lot of them came with whatever wave of immigration and migrants that came in to work. So I like to explore those things.
Right. And I like how her tagline becomes abuela approved.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, you have a background where your father was, Cuban. So did you have an abuela that cooked for you? And
oh, I did. So my great grandparents were who I stayed with after school. So yeah, and then I had, even before I stayed with my great grandparents in like really elementary school, like first, second grade, that kind of thing, I stayed with a family of sisters who were educators in Cuba, and they were hilarious. Like, so one of them was a teacher, and she was like sweet but like stern, and the other one was kind of like the home cook, and the other one kind of sewed and did kind of seamstressy stuff. And so I would come home from school. Well, she would come pick me up from school, because Cuban, we don't like just, you're going to have chaperones for like everything in your life. So she would go get me from school, come home, and then there would always be stuff cooking. There was always on the back of the stove a pot of either orange peels or grapefruit peels, and she was making marmalade.
oh wow.
So like you would use, the pulp for whatever.
That must have smelled so good.
And you would throw that in there, and that would eventually, I don't know, however many days. I never learned how to cook it, but I knew what it was making. And then she would also make the little merengue bites, the little merengue kisses, which is just, beat egg whites with sugar. And so she would cook those about once a week, so there were always all these little great snacks that you just come home to.
It's so nice. Yeah. That's great.
And then later on, the dedication to the book is to Elena, which was, she was my father's second wife. And I call her kind of my stepmom, because she was, I was a teen by then, like late teens, but she's just lovely. Like, she taught me how to cook everything. She bought me a pressure cooker, and I was terrified. I was like, I thought they blew up.
Am I
it
gonna
is
get
the
injured?
it is the only way to make black beans. Like it makes the black beans so tender.
Mhm.
Really?
Wow. We'll have to get that
I know,
recipe
now
too.
I'm like,
I mean, I guess an Instapot is like the modern equivalent
Mhm.
of a pressure cooker, so you could do it in Instapot.
Mhm.
But yeah, the old, and
Yeah,
then the
the
little
thing with the
bell would go.
screwed whistle on
Oh,
the
I do.
top.
I always was scared of those.
I'm still scared of it, but they work.
Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome. So one of the things that we both loved was all the layers in this book. Okay, so there is obviously murder. I mean, we got a little crime going on
Yeah,
here.
there's crime.
We've got marriage troubles. We've got in-law challenges. We've got family rivalries. We've got different socioeconomic circumstances. We've got cultural different. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Right.
And so, but on top of it, you use humor so well to address all these really serious and hard challenges. And I think that writing with humor must have been so hard about these serious topics. Tell us how you did that.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I love the subgenre of cozy mysteries and amateur sleuths to some extent, is because I like that humor. Because if not, it's murder. I mean, murder is very serious, and I don't want to treat it lightly by any means, but kind of like all of the other stuff that goes around it kind of softens that harshness. And yeah, it's hard for me not to throw in a little humor. Like even in my short stories, which I think my short stories are not cozy. My short stories are a little on the harder side. There's cussing, there's a little more violence, it's a little on the harder side. Not like hard boiled or like noir, not that
Right.
far away, but just a little,
Yeah.
I can't resist putting something funny in there, and I'm not sure why, but
Well, that's your what do they call it? Your voice.
yeah, it definitely is. Definitely.
Mhm.
I
Great.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I wondered when you set out to write this, did Miriam come to you? Did these set of challenges that this character would have come to you? Did you know it was going to be a series? Like, how did it kind of appear to you in your mind first?
The first thing that came to me was the scene, which I wrote as the opening scene where the first body drops. And I just like that I mean, I don't think it's too much to give away. It was in the New York Times Review.
Yeah.
She's sitting next to somebody and her face flops into the chicken salad.
Right.
Like there was just, the image was there, the sound was there, like the wilty little green lettuce. I mean, I just had it all there, right? And I knew it was a juxtaposition then. I knew that the person sitting next to her was just like, oh, what have I gotten into? Right?
Right.
But then my editor, working with my editor at Crooked Lane Books, Faith, she's fabulous. She's like, I really like the cooking show part of it. And the cooking show part of it was always there, but she was like, we need to bring that in earlier. So I did write that chapter 1, that opening scene, just kind of to set it up. And I'm so happy that I did. And I love my relationship with my editor because it works so great. We know exactly where she is. She's unpacking. I can do that little backstory bit of where she's coming from and the whole setup. And then boom, we know about this cooking show thing. Yeah.
And
great.
her mother-in-law makes an appearance right away. And that just sets you up for, I mean, you could just feel stress and tension. I was like, this is awesome.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Christy, I think it's time for the question in the bottle.
Oh,
As you know, we do this midway, kind of a question you might get to at the end of a bottle.
All right. Well, this looks like a pretty good one. Maybe it sort of fits. What is your most memorable moment of television?
Oh, definitely I Love Lucy. I mean, come on.
That's what we figured. As soon as you said that, I was like, in my head, I Love Lucy, you know?
So go back to when I was telling you about the sisters that I used to go with after school.
Yeah.
It was me and another child that they took care of, which I think was somehow related to them, or else we all lived in the same apartment building. I'm a little fuzzy on that. And but anyway, so sit down, do your homework, whatever, have your little snack, whatever, and then you could watch TV. But there was no cable. I mean, there was cable, but they didn't have cable, and so it was reruns. It was whatever was on the local station on reruns. And at that time, it was I Love Lucy, and then all the other variations of the Desilu kind of things. And I just remember really feeling like I wasn't alone in the world, because there was a representation of a family that was similar to mine.
Wow.
Right. And that whole culture clash and the humor of it. I mean, maybe I get some of my humor from having watched so many sitcoms as a very young child, I don't know, maybe. And then I went to school at St. Patrick's on Miami Beach, where Desi Arnaz went to school.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I remember he came for a visit, and it was like, he looked nothing like suave, debonair Ricky at that time. I mean, he'd already gone white and he was elderly and so forth and so on. But I still remember the hubbub around it, and just like, who is this person?
Wow, that's so cool.
So I do have a connection with I Love Lucy.
It's such a cool story about how representation really matters. That
Absolutely.
When you were at that impressionable age, that's why this matters so much. I'm curious on this topic. This is a very serious topic. What you think about the new movie coming out about the I Love Lucy show? Have you heard of this?
I have, but now is this the one that was licensed by the kids, or no?
I think it is. I think because this has got Nicole Kidman, and who is playing Desi?
Javier Bardem.
Yes.
Ooh,
I know.
Nice.
So it's like I could watch those two do anything probably.
Yeah.
But I think I had read somewhere that was like the kids were on board
pretty
with
sure it's the kids who aren't kids, but anyway.
The offspring.
Yeah, which sounds it's always been a weird word for me. It's very hard to use that word like in a sentence and go for it. But
I love my offspring.
Are you writing that into your story, please?
Yeah.
Is that now a thing? Like every book you do will have to have that word somewhere hidden in there. It's like a little Easter egg, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you have any Easter eggs in yours?
I think there are some, probably for the Miami people. I mentioned some things that if you've lived in Miami for a length of time, you're going to be like, I know what she's talking about. Or you'll get a little chuckle that maybe a reader in South Dakota might not.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to get those.
Yeah.
You can tell me.
Not that it's taking anything away from the readership, but just like this little fun thing of, I know where that is.
Cool.
Well, she changed the name, but I know where that is.
I know what she's talking about.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Okay, so I'm dying to know about the New York Times review.
Yes.
Okay.
So how did it come about? Did you know all the things?
Here's the story on that.
Okay.
I'm doing about my regular day, and it's the month leading up to my book birthday. And so this lead up, you're doing all kinds of stuff, all these blog posts and, lovely podcasts and all of this stuff. And so I get a text, and I've been watching my phone for other stuff that I needed coming in. And it's a friend of ours from the Florida Mystery Writers of America chapter. And she says, "Oh, congratulations." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks. but it's next week, but thank you. And she's
Yeah.
like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, the review. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, get on the group chat. Cause we have a group thing for
Which
all of our chapter
I
business
can
and stuff.
see, and then I forget to look at it a lot
So
of
then I
times.
go on there, and Joanne from Murder on the Beach bookstore has posted this topic that says Raquel is getting a review in the New York Times. And I was like,
Raquel who?
I was like, I'm so sorry. What? And I put something to that effect. I'm like, are you sure?
Right.
Like, where did you get this information?
Yeah.
And she came back with a little post that says, because she's a bookstore, she manages a bookstore. So they get all types of information that maybe we don't get. So it was some type of notice from the New York Times that saying, these are the books we will be reviewing in the coming weeks. And there was my name, clear as day, and the title of my book. So then I jump on to my Gmail and I send a message out to my publisher and my publicist. And I'm like, did you know about this? What is this about? And my publisher comes back and says, we had an idea that it was going to happen. Like, we knew that you were in the whatever finalists or whatever you want to call it, the lineup or so forth, but we didn't have any confirmation. So we didn't want to tell you. And so even my publisher didn't know at that moment that it was a definite yes.
Wow.
And then I was like, well, what if they hate it? And so then that was like a whole week of, I think it was like three days maybe of, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. No, but it came out lovely.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody uses panache, okay,
Yeah.
I will take it.
I'll take that.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. So I wonder how they do it. Like, all the different publishers send them their newest books and then they kind of look through, or?
I wish that I knew, because because they get something ridiculous, like 600, that it's just so much. And then a friend of mine did a little research about how often women get reviewed and then how often cozy mysteries get reviewed. And it's basically 2%.
Wow.
I
You're one of the 2%.
I know. Well,
I know. I was like, oh,
it's
that's
amazing.
I'm like, I know her. She's in the New York Times.
I have read Jen Weiner, a great writer, has written many times about the difficulty of getting reviewed in the New York Times as a woman. And so I was, but I just can't fathom, as like you said, woman, cozy, like it just gets harder and harder and more challenging. And you are it, Peach.
I'm just absolutely thrilled. And it was so lovely because because there's 3 books reviewed in this column on the day that mine hit. And the title leading off of the whole column references that scene in my book. And I was just like, wow. It was just like, I couldn't have asked for anything more perfect and memorable, about this debut year, because that's what a lot of people are telling you. They're like, enjoy it. It doesn't happen again. You're not going to get this much attention ever again. They don't say it like that, but what I'm saying.
Well, it's special no matter what. It's
exactly.
No matter, it's special, and that we're just so thrilled for you. So before you're mentioning though about all the process leading up. So talk to us about what this last year has been like, the publication process, like what that has been like.
Well, I'm very, very fortunate. My agent, when we worked out our contract, I had a long lead in for my book to work on my book. I'm a bit of a slow writer, and I'm, I write every day, but I envy those people who sit down and just close themselves off for a weekend and come out and there they have 60,000 words. I'm like, how did you do that? what magic pill did you take? Right. Where can I get it?
Is it legal?
Exactly. So, I was really lucky to be able to have this time to kind of work on this and develop it. And I was given a lot of freedom. I was never really challenged or pushed back on any of the things that I wanted to talk to. And I have to say that, I bring up racism in here. I bring up some heavy themes in here, and I hope that I feel, and some of the reviews have told me, and I've had reader feedback that I deal with them in a very balanced way and a deft way. And I'm thankful for that, because that's one of the things I wanted to do with this cozy, is not only have the representation for a Cuban American, a Latina, the Caribbean, not only to have that representation, but to place it in an actual city of Miami, and deal with all of those kind of real life pressures that I think readers might also be encountering.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I enjoy writing. And I hope that, the great thing about cozies is that there's something for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you only want to be in a quilting shop in a very small town, there are cozies for you.
Mhm.
Right.
If you want to have, the cozy that is on, that there's a couple of vineyard ones
Mhm.
that deal with wine and so forth. I love those.
I do too.
Mhm.
I've read those. I love them.
Right?
I watch the movies on Hallmark.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
I see this on Hallmark.
Christy said that today. She said, Kathy, I think this Raquel's series is going to get picked up by
I hope
Hallmark.
so.
And I was like,
I don't usually watch the Hallmark mysteries. I enjoy the Hallmark Christmas.
oh,
Yeah.
And there was one that she's a baker and she's Latina, and
Mhm.
she's the splitting image of the princess or whatever. And the princess wants to escape all of the horrors and live a real life. And so they,
switched, yeah.
what is that? Parent Trap. They did a Parent Trap, switch. And she's Latina, and I remember watching that and going, because it's been a couple of years, because now I think they're on their third Christmas version of this that kind of story.
I know they
series,
do.
right?
Yeah, they redo.
But I was kind of like, it was really refreshing to see that representation.
Raquel, did you see? Because I must admit, I watch the new movies on the Hallmark Channel. Kathy's like rolling her eyes probably.
No, I'm not. I like them too.
But it was this month. It was like last week or 2 weeks ago. It was South Beach something.
oh,
I got an ad for that on something, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
what's
So
that?
it's like supposedly set in South Beach, but it's the whole the probably Cuban. I can't remember now if they were.
Well, there was a great one. There was a Cuban bakery one that I think was on CBS or NBC or something like that. So yeah, there's some stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
we
the
have
guy who
networks
plays
here.
the male interest, he's a well-known, I think, telenovela,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
and she is like, they grew up near each other, but she's like Irish,
Oh,
Mm.
I'll
but
have to
she's
check it out.
wants to cook cute. She's learning to they're cooks too.
Okay.
So this is
I'll
perfect.
check
Yeah.
it out. I will
Oh,
check it
well.
out.
We'll
Okay.
include the links.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, now we're gonna just go back to Raquel
Yes, let's talk about Raquel.
and her writing routine.
Yes.
Because you say you're a slow writer, but you get it done. So how do you get it done? And we're wondering also about the next book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a title and I have a cover, which if you are a member of my newsletter, you got the cover.
We'll put the link.
Put
We'll
the
put
link
the
in there
link.
because I'm not going to reveal it until a couple more days, and so you'll still get that sneak peek and a chance to win a book. But anyway, You know how newsletters are. Anyway, so I start off with a skeleton structure. You know, I know beginning, I know a few of the scenes in the middle, and I know the end. I know the characters. I like to use Plotter, the software, to keep some of my record keeping.
I don't know that software, Raquel.
Okay, so I tried Scrivener, and I know that you two are big on thrillers and all of that. And I think that thriller people and screenwriter people love Scrivener. And I was like, there's way too much stuff here. And I am a linear person, and Scrivener wants to give you the ability to move stuff around all the time. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want it to, you know, go from point A to point B. So Plotter is a little, it's very clean and light. It allows you to have your character files in there. It allows you to put pictures for your characters. You can have details like that. But when you look at the structure, it's just simple little boxes. So I can have a color for my A storyline and a color for my B storyline. I can have some tags in there so I know what's going on in the scene, you know, but it's just very clean looking. So like I can print it out or look at it on the screen and it's not cluttered with stuff. And that's what I need to focus.
I'm gonna check that
But
out.
I keep a 3-ring binder with me next to my writing desk with a notebook in it. And that's where I scribble all of my little ideas, all my thoughts, all my red herrings, or something. It's like, I'll put a reminder to myself. Oh, you put this here, remember to pick it up later on down the line. So that is chaotic. I mean, sometimes I look at it and I'm like, what letter is that? I don't even
I know. I do the same thing. It's like,
or
don't remember what I was thinking then.
I can't read my own writing sometimes.
Yeah, right. Because you know, it's like, and there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's it. And I enjoy Plotter because I used to keep everything on an Excel spreadsheet, you know, and I used to do basically the same thing, but on an Excel spreadsheet, which is kind of a pain because, you know, those little, you know, squares don't really enlarge. Those cells don't enlarge, you know, and then they want to, then you have to go wrap text and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
Plotter just does that for you. It like enlarges and you can write all this stuff and then it, you know, it you know, reduces it. And then I do that. I'd still use Excel for keeping my word count. So it's just a simple thing. I have the date. I have when I started writing, when I finished writing, and the number of words I got.
So that keeps you,
and it totals at the end, you know, and then at the end it's a sum.
So do you have a set goal for the day? I mean, do you have like, are you pretty?
At one point I did, and then I would get like super stressed that I wasn't meeting that, you know? And so for me, I'm just happier to have that I've written every day. You know, like I remember one day I went on there and I put a negative in there because I had done a little, you know, editing. And I was like, oh, my word count didn't go up. It went down, but it didn't. The goal is for me to write. And I don't think everybody has to write every day. You know, the people who can lock themselves in a room and come out with a 60K of words, they don't need to write every day. But there's some of us that do need to write every day. And that consistency really works for me.
Do you still have, do you have a certain time of the day?
I have to write in the morning, and if something interferes with that, it does, and I don't make myself feel bad about it by any means. You know, we have doctor's appointments, we have emergencies, and you know, we have family life. You know, just sometimes it doesn't happen. But yeah, it's very difficult for me to write in the afternoons. Like the world is too much in my head. You know, I really love going into the cave. I get up, I have my coffee, I check my social media. That doesn't bother me. but I joke with my husband. I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm writing. Like I can't have like audio
Mhm.
of any kind.
Interesting.
So no music, no. Mm-mm.
Okay,
And
what
then
kind of coffee?
What kind of coffee?
Yeah.
I drink really dark coffee. I don't always make Cuban coffee because I usually have Cuban coffee on my way to work because I get it from the little ventanita on the way to work. But at home, I have a nice dark coffee. I actually put in an extra scoop. Like
Oh, so it's like sludge.
no, it's just dark.
It's just dark.
It's
No,
like
it's
the
just
color
dark.
of your sweater.
Well,
It's
do you put
dark
a lot of cream and
coffee.
sugar in it, or you?
No, I put a little bit of half and half,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
but no sugar. Because then
Yeah.
I go have my Cuban coffee, which has sugar, like, it's very
Yeah.
sweet. That's, and sometimes I switch it out and I have coffee with chicory, like,
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
yeah, which is also very dark.
Yeah.
I
but
like
yum.
bold. Let's not
Yes.
go with dark. It's bold.
That's bold. A
Bold coffee.
blend.
Bold.
Yes.
Anyway, oh wow.
Oh, this has been so fun.
Yeah,
I
this
love
has
it.
been a lot of fun.
All right, Christy's
So
got one
yeah,
final
I
question.
got a final question for you.
Okay.
Okay, so this is one we ask everyone, and it's just for fun. But which of your characters would you like to share a meal with, and what would it be?
Ooh, which of my characters would I share with? What would it be? I mean, it would be Miriam, because I do all the research that I have to make the book, but in the world of the book, she has a PhD, so she knows all this stuff like at the snap of a finger. So I could just ask her all of this stuff
Oh.
because her specialty is the Caribbean. And yeah, I would
That
definitely.
would be
what
fun,
would,
yeah.
what would we eat?
Yeah. What
Since
would you
I'm not having to cook it,
Yes.
it would probably be, I really like, it would definitely be black beans and rice for sure. I love good black beans and rice. And then probably chicken fricassee, which is in the recipe, but pollo but you usually don't serve chicken fricassee with black beans and rice. So
You can do whatever
I can do whatever I want.
It's
And
your
then definitely-
imaginary
And
meal.
definitely tostones, which I love tostones, but they're fried and I don't like to fry at my house.
Yeah.
I guess I should get one of those little air fryers.
Air fryer. Yeah.
I don't have
wonder
a
how that
counter
would work.
space
It's
for an
not
air
the
fryer.
same.
Yeah.
I just don't think
Right,
it's the
that's
same.
what I figure.
Yeah.
I mean,
not.
it's healthier and that's good.
It is. But if you're
But-
gonna have it, have it. Like,
Have it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
can always
yeah.
go out because in Miami,
Like you
there-
say, your backyard is full of really good food.
And you have it with this little mojito, which is a garlic and lime dipping sauce that you take the little tostone and you dip it in. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just
So
was
good.
thinking, what are we gonna have for dinner
I don't know, but my mouth is drooling. So anyway, all right. So
Okay, best way for people to reach you.
I am Latina Sleuths across platforms.
Love
They
that.
can do latinasleuths.com. They can find me on Twitter. They can find me on Instagram. They can find me on Facebook. I'm really enjoying Instagram right now, I have to say. It's
I
so
like
pretty
Instagram
over
too.
there.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
It's just not the Wild West like some other platforms
yeah. Oh
are.
gosh.
I love Twitter too. I do love Twitter.
Yeah,
but
Twitter's
but-
fun, but it's
But I
it's
think
fun
that's
to
like-
read it because people
Yeah.
are just crazy. But
yeah, it's kind of like for talking to other authors. I
Yeah.
have learned a lot about industry stuff
Hmm.
from following
right.
other authors. And so Twitter is almost
And
educational.
agents and yeah, they're
Agents,
on there.
and you
yeah.
get publishing news that comes out that
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's kind of like a newspaper.
Mhm.
And then, Instagram is just lovely.
It's, yeah,
this-
she's pretty.
So
and
all
well,
we
and
have
I
left
follow a lot
to
of
do.
Caribbean
sorry.
cooking people on Instagram too. So it's
Oh.
also kind of like,
Oh,
Oh, and that we
Oh,
would be salivating.
it's research. It's research.
it is, but it sounds like it would make me want to eat everything.
I know.
Your book made me want to eat everything.
I know.
Oh, I'm glad.
I know. When we're down there the next time, we'll have you over
Oh,
and you can cook for
absolutely.
I
us or
know. I was
something.
just thinking if we had reversed this trip, we could have done this in person.
I know.
We screwed this up. Next
Oh,
time,
well,
your next book.
Well, July is Sleuth Fest. I'm just saying, as
Oh,
I,
I
yeah,
was
drink
wanted to ask you
yeah.
about this.
my
I-
wine from my Sleuth Fest.
All right. Well, so
thing.
first let's you want to do a plug for Sleuth Fest real
Totally, I
quick?
want to do a plug. That is how I met these two lovely women, Sleuth Fest. So all South Dakota writers, you need to go to Sleuth Fest in Florida. Raquel is one of the brains behind it.
Yep.
I wanted to give you kudos, Raquel, and all of your committee members for your hard work in this pandemic time. You guys did a great job doing an online, and you moved this year's Sleuth Fest to hopefully a more safe time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hopefully getting yourself a little window.
Mhm.
Exactly. And that's what it was. Just everything has been so unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. March was coming up. I mean, it's literally around the corner. So moving it 3 months down to July gives you just a little buffer. And I will tell you, it made the hotel room rate go down. So
Yeah.
So it's really
And
affordable.
we have air
That's
conditioning.
what I said to Christy. I said, so I'm coming to Florida in the summer, and she said, yes, but we have air conditioning everywhere. I was like, okay.
And
I
then
think-
otherwise you just go in the water.
yeah,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be great. So give everybody the plug for Sleuth Fest's website and their social media.
Yes, sleuthfest.com, easy peasy. It's July 7th through 10th. Jeffrey Devers is our guest of honor. I know you're a
Can't
big
wait.
Devers fan.
That's
Yeah.
so
And
great.
then we have Lori Rader Day is one of our
Mhm.
faculty.
Oh yeah.
And Tracy Clark is one of our other faculty. We already have our forensic faculty over there who's
Wow.
got tons of experience. Yeah, just go to the website and read all
Gonna be
about it.
great.
And
It
then
is
we'll
gonna
have
be great.
agents and editors coming, and fingers crossed we can all get back to normal and maybe even have
Go get
hugs.
vaccinated,
I
everybody.
don't know.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I can't
Yeah.
wait. And
Yep.
it'll be great to see people in person again.
Yeah.
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 I know.
Well,
Anyway.
what a blast, Raquel. This has been so fun.
I know.
This has been
And
great fun.
we still have to do another toast. A
We do
cheers
to Raquel
Oh,
and her
thank you.
lovely book birthday and her new book.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.